would you do if a nurse laughed while your friend was dying? We were in the school cafeteria when my best friend Jade started shaking and sweating through her shirt. She grabbed my arm and whispered that she needed to get to the nurse right now because her blood sugar was dropping fast. It looked like she would pass out at any moment. We pushed through the nurse's office door and found the substitute nurse eating her lunch and watching videos on her phone. "Excuse me," Jade said while holding onto the wall. "I need my emergency sugar tablets from the medical cabinet. I'm diabetic and my blood sugar is dropping really low." The substitute nurse didn't even look up from her screen. "Nice try, sweetheart, but I wasn't born yesterday. The regular nurse told me all about you kids pretending to be sick when you have tests." Jade's monitor was beeping and she held it up to show the numbers. "Please, this shows my blood sugar is dropping too fast." The nurse finally looked up just to roll her eyes. "The only thing dropping is my patience with teenagers who think I'm stupid. Nobody touches that cabinet except me, and I am not opening it for some faker." I tried to explain that Jade had been diabetic since we were little kids and this was a real emergency, but the nurse cut me off before I could finish. "Oh look, the best friend is here to back up the story. How convenient. Did you two practice this little performance in the bathroom?" Jade sat down in the chair and her whole body was trembling now. "I'm scared," she whispered, and tears were running down her face. The nurse went back to eating her salad and actually turned her phone volume up louder. "You can sit there and shake all you want, but I have been a nurse longer than you have even been alive, and I know acting when I see it." I showed her Jade's medical bracelet that said type 1 diabetic, but she laughed in my face. "Anyone can buy those online. I bet half the kids in this school have fake medical bracelets they use to get out of things." Jade was trying to talk, but her words were coming out all mixed up and confused. "Please, I need sugar. I'm gonna pass out." The nurse pointed her fork at her. "The only thing you need is to stop wasting my lunch break with this pathetic show. You should be embarrassed." A couple other kids had followed us into the office because they saw how bad Jade looked. One of them said they were going to get the principal and started toward the door, but the nurse jumped up and locked it before they could get out. "Nobody is leaving this office until this little liar admits she's faking." That's when Jade's eyes rolled back and she fell right off the chair onto the floor, her head cracking against the floor. She started having these tiny shaking movements all over her body and making these awful choking sounds. I dropped down next to her, screaming that she was having a diabetic emergency and could actually die. The nurse stood over us laughing. "Wow, you are really committed to this performance, aren't you? I know fake seizures when I see them. Real ones don't look like that." I was sobbing and begging her to help while blood started coming from where Jade hit her head. "She's dying. Can't you see she's dying?" The nurse kicked Jade's foot with her shoe. "Get up. I know you can hear me. This game is over." I texted everyone I could think of with one hand while holding Jade with the other. My friend Jackson wrote back that the regular nurse kept Jade's emergency medicine in the locked cabinet. I looked at that cabinet and then at Jade, whose lips were turning blue, and I knew what I had to do. I grabbed the heavy textbook from the desk and started smashing it against the cabinet lock. The nurse went crazy, screaming about how I was destroying school property and how she was going to call the police. "Fine. I would rather go to jail than watch my best friend die because you are too proud to admit you are wrong." The lock broke on the fourth hit and I yanked open the door. The nurse literally tackled me to the ground trying to grab the supplies, but Jackson and another kid who had climbed through the window pulled her off and held her down. I found the emergency sugar gel and squeezed the whole tube into Jade's mouth while the nurse screamed that we were all getting expelled. The principal burst in with security after hearing the commotion and immediately called 911 when he saw Jade on the floor. The paramedic said she was minutes from dying or having permanent brain damage. The substitute nurse tried to tell them we were lying, but they saw everything on the security cameras. They investigated her and found out that she had been fired from 4 other schools for denying medical help to students, and her nursing license had been fake the whole time. She got arrested for attempted murder.